Good evening. It's Friday. I do apologise we're a bit late. I've had a few technical issues at my end. It's nothing too serious. It's just that now I work from home. I work in the same office and I've got to clear everything away and put everything in and load it all up. And sometimes it just takes ages. But anyway, we are here. It is the big show, of course. We have got a lot to get through this evening. We are going to look back on the North London derby, of course, last week. Disappointing result that was, and also as well the Champions League game in midweek against Real Madrid, which ended with the right result. But was there more questions asked than answered really in that performance? But anyway, at least we got the win. And of course, it is international break coming up as well, so we're going to have a little look ahead to that as well, and of course discuss maybe how this block of games went, because it was a big block of games. We knew it was going to be a big block of games. Did it really go as well as we kind of hoped it would? Lots to talk about coming up the other side of this. And of course, joining us as always is Andreas, the Lord, of course. Have you thawed out a bit from the other night? It was very cold, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I'm happy to be in a warm living room now. And yeah, it was really freezing cold and the icy wind at Meadow Park. Whoever was at Meadow Park for a game in winter knows how cold it is there. And yeah, but in the end, the result was warming us up, and yeah, the 3 points counted more than freezing the whole night.
Exactly, and that's what it was all about in the end, wasn't it? Getting those 3 points, and yeah, it's been cold here still. It's starting to melt a bit, the snow, but anyway, we've had some bad weather, but it seems to be on its way out, which is good for the time being. Of course, the only place we can really start the show is, as always, we do things in chronological order. We're going to go back to last weekend, and of course, the North London derby. So, of course, we spoke about this game last week. We kind of expected to win, and it didn't quite work out that way, did it? And a lot of the issues that we've seen in recent weeks seem to be, again, there, that the team's lacking a spark, seems to be lacking the freedom we were playing with last year. And I didn't even like Renee's comments after the game when she was saying, in the first half, the two teams were just feeling each other out. It's like it's a North London derby. We're Arsenal. We're expected to win this game. We needed to win this game. We need to go out there, not worry about what they might do and see how they're going to set up. Let's just play our football. And we didn't. And yes, the second half was better, as it tends to be recently. But it wasn't good enough. And it hasn't been good enough. And this was another example of that. And, you know, the WSL might have gone. The title might have gone already before this game. Yes, we probably accept it has after the Chelsea game. But to me, there was just no excuse for such a flat performance that lacked spark, it lacked energy, it lacked ideas. And in the end, you know, it was a 0-0 draw. And to be honest, that was probably about the right result for the game. It was a nothing game. And considering how important it was, I was so disappointed with how we approached it, how we played, and just everything about that game. I just thought was, from an Arsenal perspective, Tottenham would have been delighted, I'm sure. But from our perspective, I just thought our whole mindset for the game seemed to be wrong. I mean, Andreas, what did you make of that? Because I thought it was just so poor. It almost felt like we'd lost the game because it was that bad.
Yeah, I totally agree that what you said about Renee's statement. I couldn't understand why did we need the first half to see what Tottenham is doing? Why? What did she do with her staff in preparing the game? Didn't she watch Tottenham play? Didn't she know what they will do or will try pressing or anything? Why do we need 45 minutes to look out what they are doing? And then she said she knew that the second half will be important. No, 90 minutes are important, not only 45 minutes. I was really speechless about this statement. And I think we played Spurs in preseason. We lost 4-3, so we knew that they are not playing like last season under Willerham, but now with their new manager Martin Ho, it's a different Tottenham team. They have different players. Tandberg in the number 9 position, not Bethany England. This shouldn't have been a surprise for us. We should have been prepared for this to start the game from the first minute, from the first whistle, and not wait until halftime and then we know what to do and then we can react. Yeah, of course, 20 minutes, 25 minutes in the second half were better and we were the better team. So you could say if one team would score a goal, then probably Arsenal and not Spurs. But 20 minutes or 25 minutes in a North London derby is not enough. And that's a main problem this season. I think the squad is good. We have really good players, but we relied too much on winning, on having won the Champions League. And we say this team, when they are all at their best, they can do magic. They can win every game. Yes, maybe special games they are able to bring the best performance, like away in Lyon, like at home against Madrid, or in the final against Barcelona, but not on a day-to-day business. And that's the problem. Maybe a problem of an aging squad with an average of 29 or something like that. Or what we said last week, the problem that this is mostly a Joe Montemurro squad. Yeah. Anyway, it was a disappointing day and a 0-0 draw that for me it felt like another defeat. And when you look at the table, City and Chelsea are gone. We need glasses to see them, and we missed the chance to spring on the third place. And now we are still level at points with Spurs. I think LCL is only 1 point behind. Are we fighting for the 5th or 6th place this season? It's disappointing from Arsenal perspective.
Well, I think disappointing is an understatement. It's not good enough, is what it is. I mean, yes, of course, it's disappointing. We always expect Arsenal to be challenging higher up the league than what we are at the moment. And yes, there's still a lot of games to play. And I'm sure when the season gets to its crucial points later on, we will be in that battling away for that top 3. But the fact of the matter is, this season so far hasn't been anywhere near good enough. And I must admit, regardless of the performance against Tottenham in the end and the result, yes, all of that's frustrating and disappointing. But Rene's comments there, like you said, that's not the comments of a manager who's confident in what they're doing, knows what they're doing, or at least gives that impression. You know, every manager's got doubts. I'm sure they have, and this, that, and the other. But you've got to come across, certainly in the media, as though you're confident in what you're doing. You believe in everything. You believe in everybody. And it was just, it sounded like she didn't really have a clue what she was doing, and that was a worrying thing for me. On the pitch, it looks like she doesn't know what she's doing half the time. And then to come out and make comments like that after a North London derby when Arsenal have dropped points that we shouldn't be dropping. Yes, Tottenham have improved. They have. There's no doubt. You know, they've improved quite a lot this season than what they were last season. They look a much better team. Of course they do. But that's not really the point. You know, everybody's improved, it seems, except us. We've gone backwards this season. And is it the squad? Is it the age of the squad? Yes, that's obviously a factor. Leo Volti not being replaced, yes, that's a factor. And maybe a manager who's too inexperienced at this top level to really push the team on. And that's a real concern for me now. You know, I think everybody's prepared to give Rene the benefit of the doubt because of what she achieved last season. But what I want to see, as much as anything else, that football from last season, when everyone was playing with a smile on their face, everybody was relaxed, the team were playing for each other. We seem to just be, everything was clicking, everyone was happy. You could see it in the team. It was a joy to watch, wasn't it? A lot of those games, especially the home games in particular, when we were scoring 4 or 5 goals. This season, apart from the first game against London City Lionesses, we've scored 1 goal at home in every game. 1. Not 4 or 5 that we were doing last season. And it's not that we've played some of the better teams. We played Brighton at home. We played Aston Villa at home. These are teams that we should sweep aside, or we have done traditionally, a lot more easily. And now we've been struggling and scoring goals. And the football's not there. It's not that free-flowing, exciting joy to watch football. It's actually really, really frustrating to watch. I mean, I put boring Arsenal in the caption there, and it's kind of what it feels like. It feels stale. It feels boring. It doesn't feel exciting like it did last season. It needs to change. Whether or not we can win the league, probably not. Whether or not we can still get in the top 3, I think we can. But regardless of all of that, I want to see the joy back. I want to see the exciting football back. I want to see football that we can really get excited about like we did last season. And it's basically the same group of players, really. I mean, yes, Leah Volchi's gone. We've got a couple of injuries. Leah Williamson's out. We know that. Kim Little's out at the minute as well. But, you know, I don't know. It just doesn't feel... It doesn't feel the same. I mean, Andreas, what do you think? Why do you think it feels so stale when it's the same group of players? They just had a massive success. A lot of them went on to win the Euros with England as well. You'd imagine they'd be buzzing and can't wait for this season to start. But it feels like, I don't know, it just feels flat.
Yeah, I think Tim Stillman made a point. He said that not every player seems to know her role in this team or in this squad. And we are playing players out of position, like Mariona. She's never been a number 6 in her career. Alessia Russo is not a number 10, and others. And we expect from these players to play 2 or 3 roles. Mariona is to play the whole midfield, and Leslie is to play as a number 10 and to score goals. And other players don't seem to know what they have to do when they come on, or what their role in this squad is, like Vicky Pelova, like Kyra Cooney-Cross. And that's a problem from the manager and from the coaching staff. I'm sorry, we defended Renee a lot because of her big success in the last season, but these are weaknesses. And what another thing is, she seems to have an exact plan when to make her changes, when to bring on the subs. After 60 minutes, I will make 2 substitutions. If Stina is starting, then I will take her off and bring Frida, or the other way around. And then Taylor for Katie McCabe. And then she waits another 10 minutes, and then she brings off a winger. If Beth is starting, then she's going out. And for the last 5 or 10 minutes, she brings on Chloe Kelly. So it's too predictable for our opponents. They know how Arsenal will start, how they will play, and when they will make which substitution. And that's, I read from the Real Madrid coach. We will speak about this game later. But he said, we know what to expect from Arsenal, and we know that they bench their best players and bring them only on when they are 1 or 2 goals down. If an opposition manager knows everything about our tactics, then something has gone wrong. And this is the predictability of the team, of the way we play, and this goes down to the manager. I'm sorry, I'm no longer convinced that Renee is able to turn things around. Yes, she deserves a chance, and of course, she deserves the chance at least until the winter break. But if you ask me whether I would give her a new contract, at the moment, no. There has to change. There has to be a lot of changes with the team, with the tactics, with the squad. Yeah, with the way the players go into a game. If your manager says we needed 45 minutes to find out how our opponents play, and I know that the second half will be important, then the players can't go into a game with the conviction, we are going out and we are blowing them away.
Yeah. Exactly. And I've always said that you find out more about everybody, managers and players, when things aren't going so well. When you're winning games, it's easy. Let's be honest. You just go out there, you relax, you play. It's easy and it looks great. It's when things go wrong. That's when you really discover and learn about people. And up until this start of this season, really, you have to say nothing really went wrong last season for Rene. Yes, we had a few cup defeats which were disappointing, but in the overall scheme of things, we finished second in the league. When she took over, we were like fifth or sixth, so that's got to be considered a success, even though we didn't win it. Obviously, the Champions League, we know what happened there, so everything pretty much went well. There were no problems. We didn't seem to have any parts of the season where we went 4 or 5 games without winning. We always seem to, if we did have a bad game, next game we would play better. There wasn't any bad times really last season, realistically, after Rene took over. But this season, right from the start, we've not played well, and suddenly we started not winning games. And that's when a great manager or a good manager works out solutions, what's gone wrong, how to put it right. We've got good enough players to be able to do it, but is the manager good enough to do that? And I agree with you. I think Rene's got this one way that she's going to do things, regardless of how the game goes, regardless of who we're playing, regardless of the situation in the game, and she's not going to budge and change it. She's just going to do the only thing she knows. I'm sure it's the only way she knows. She doesn't know anything else. That's why she doesn't try anything else. And now it is becoming predictable. We know before a game starts who the substitutions are going to be, roughly what time they're probably going to happen, barring an injury or something else during the game. But if everything just runs like normal, we know what's going to happen. We see the starting lineup, and you know what the substitutions are going to be straight away. Like you said, if Stina starts, you know she's coming off probably 10 minutes into the second half. Every single game that happens. If she doesn't start, you know she'll probably come on 60 minutes. She'll change both wingers, regardless, whichever two start, and it'll be the same two and the same two on the bench that just straight swap for each other. She doesn't mix and match them, so you don't get Chloe Kelly and Beth Mead together. You always get Beth Mead and Caitlin Ford, or you get Olivia Smith and Chloe Kelly. She doesn't mix it up. And this is just stuff that's, I don't know, it's just obvious to make some changes and do something different sometimes. And Rene just won't do it. Or she can't do it. She doesn't know. I don't know what it is. But I'm with you. I don't think, in fact, nothing really now is going to probably convince me that she's good enough long term to take this club forward. I just don't think she is. I don't think tactically she is. I don't think as a manager of players she is. She doesn't seem to know what she's doing to keep the players. She's overplaying certain players. She just won't leave them out of the team regardless. Other players, she doesn't play them enough. She's not using the squad enough. She's too inflexible. She's she's starting to remind me too much of Mikel Arteta. And yes, he kind of turned things around. He was given time, investment, and he kind of got his ideas to work he got the players in to make his ideas work. I don't want to have to go through 5 years of this with Rene, because I don't think she's good enough to do it anyway. And I think the way that women's football is moving and improving, and how everybody else is improving already this season and we haven't, that's a worry for me. And I don't care now about the Champions League last season. That's last season. It was great at the time. We loved it. And of course, to say we're champions of Europe this season is fantastic, but that's in the past. We've got to look forward. We've got to progress. We've got to move forward. Other teams are, other clubs are, and we're getting left behind. It feels like we're getting left behind. Not just in look at the league table, we're a little bit behind. And yes, we may well still turn that around, but in terms of, other clubs are getting in different managers, they're getting in new players, they're changing their squad around, they're doing something different to try to improve. And it's almost like we think, oh, well, that's all right. We can sell out the Emirates. We won the Champions League. We've got players that have been here for 10 years, know the club inside out. We're fine. That almost seems like that's the attitude. And if you have that attitude, and we're just going to get overtaken because everybody else is looking to improve and they're using maybe us as the example. But when you're the example, if you stay still and don't improve, everybody else is just going to take it all off you. And we'll end up further down the table. We'll end up not selling out the Emirates because people won't want to watch games that are 0-0 draws all the time. Boring football, predictable football. It's not like the Premier League where the games will sell out regardless. No. In the women's game, it won't. If the team aren't performing, eventually the crowds will drop off. They will. There's no doubt, because the prices are going up more now at the Emirates as well. So I don't know. I feel that it's reached a point for me now where I can't see how Rene can take the club forward. I just don't think she's capable of doing it. I like Rene, and like you said, we've you know, she deserved the opportunity. She took it, grabbed it with two hands, and look what she managed to achieve last season. But to not build on that and to let it start crumbling so quickly, and to not be able to motivate the team, it seems to me that's not good enough. LG says there, Tim Stillman said his one disappointment with Renee is that after winning the Champions League with an aging squad, she had the authority to build the team in her image, and she chose not to do that. Well, did she choose not to do it? I don't know, but yeah, I kind of get the point. It should have been a big overhaul in the summer, but it maybe felt a little bit like, well, this group of players, they've just achieved the Champions League. Surely they've got at least one more big thing in them. You know, maybe that's what the feeling was. Maybe that's why it wasn't changed so quickly. I don't know. But now it looks like it's come to bite us because, you know, we clearly needed freshening up. We needed an overhaul of the squad a bit more. We haven't got it. And now here we are looking like we're dropping behind everybody. And even Tottenham now have caught up to us, haven't they? You know, the game the other day, they got a draw with us. We're level on points in the league with them. And that's a worrying sign. It is a worrying sign. Yeah, Man United, Man City and Chelsea, we're always going to be in a battle with them. And that's fine. But when it's Tottenham, that, you know, a couple of years ago, we were thrashing them 5-6-0 all the time. That it just shows, you know, they've progressed. Yes, absolutely. But we haven't. We've stayed still. And that doesn't get you anywhere. Ryan says mid-table team. Well, we look like a mid-table team at the moment. We do. You're right. We do. LG says it doesn't matter if the aging squad is winning at WSLs every season. The rebuild will need to happen regardless because of age. That's what successful teams do. Look at Chelsea, always upgrading players. Yeah, and I think what you need to do is you don't replace 8 players in one go. You do it as they start to get to the age where you think, right, they're probably past their best now. You get rid of a couple at a time, bring a couple in, keep refreshing it constantly all the time. And that's what Chelsea have done really well. And we haven't. We just held on to players. And then suddenly now it's got to a point where we've probably got 8 or 9 players we need to get rid of and replace. And by doing that, that's then going to take another 2 or 3 years to build a new team, because we're going to have to start again almost. And this is the result. It's not that's not just Renee's fault, to be fair. This has been an ongoing problem over the last few years before Renee even took over or anything like that. But it's a club issue. But ultimately, Renee's now in the hot seat, and she should have been looking at this last summer and making some of those changes already to start happening, and she didn't. And now we're in a position where you can see what's happened this season. DMD says both the men's and female teams progressing. Well, I don't think the female team is progressing. I don't see any progression this season. I really don't. In fact, when you look over the last 4 or 5 seasons, there's not really progression. Yes, we've won some cups. We won 2 league cups, didn't we, in a row? Now we won the Champions League. Yes, that's great. We love winning trophies. There's nothing better. That's what football's all about, isn't it? You know, we're Arsenal. We should be winning trophies, and that's great. But when you look at it, we haven't shown any progression. We're not getting any closer to Chelsea, are we? In fact, you could say we're getting further away. They haven't lost the league game for however. I can't remember last time they lost the league game, Chelsea. We haven't got closer to them, have we? That's not the only way you progress is you progress by improving on the top teams, and we haven't done that. We're not doing that. So I think the men's team has progressed. Absolutely. I've got, you know, as much as I dislike Arteta, we have improved. Of course we have. You know, we've progressed. Absolutely. The women's team haven't progressed. Not really. We're exactly where we were 5 years ago. Only we've won a couple of cups along the way. And it says here, don't agree. Trust in Renee, but Stina needs to play more. Well, who decides how much Stina plays if it's not Renee? You know what I mean? Who decides? DMD says people saying Arsenal team injuries, the game has a different effect. Look at Arsenal and Spurs next opponents. Well, no, but injuries do play a part. Of course they do. And I'm not going to dismiss that. We've had some bad injuries. We've got some bad injuries, but we've got a squad that should be good enough to cope. Ryan says all this about not telling the opposition anything. We know what's happening with exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, we don't. What they might as well do is they might as well send the opposition to our training sessions, because they won't learn anything different that no one already knows. So they might as well just broadcast their training sessions live to everybody to see, because nothing different is ever done, is it? So you're right. Agnes says, yeah, let's face it, WSL so much higher standard. Yeah, but so why haven't we improved? We need to improve then, don't we? That's the point. We know it's getting stronger every season. We've seen it happening before our eyes. Look, from 4 years ago to now, the standard of the league is massively better. So we need to improve by at least that much to keep being competitive, and we haven't done that. The league's fantastic. I've got no issue with the WSL. I think it's fantastic now. It really is good quality football. Even the lower teams are playing some good football now. The games you watch on the telly are brilliant, right? And that's fantastic. But from us as an Arsenal perspective, we haven't progressed at the same rate. We've dropped behind. And we can't afford to do that. We're Arsenal. DMD says, good to see Russo tuck those guys. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, we've still got very good players. LG says that older players are a big issue. They're too comfortable at the club. Is comfortable. The club is comfortable having them. Yeah. If Beth Mead was at Chelsea, she would have been sold by now. Let's be real. Yeah, exactly. And then the thing is, you see, when we did get rid of one of the sort of more senior players in Viv last year, everyone turned on the manager, because you got rid of her. Not that we was trying to improve the team. Oh, we've got rid of one of our favourite players. And I think Renee, maybe deep down in the back of her mind, maybe thinking, well, if I start getting rid of all these players that the fans love, they're all going to turn against me, like they turned against Jonas. And that's ridiculous. Let the manager manage the team. If the manager wants to get rid of 5 or 6 players because they're too old and not good enough anymore, bye-bye. Thanks for what you've done. We love you. We'll never forget what you did, but we want to move on. You can't keep hanging on to these players. And I just feel that maybe that whole Viv situation hasn't really helped now, because I do think that there's an issue there that if Beth had been sold, if Beth was sold, especially soon after Viv had been sold, the fans wouldn't have been happy. They won't. And now, you know, and then that creates more problems. But you can't keep older players on that basis. You can't. You just can't do it. But anyway, all of that doesn't really. The point is, as things are right now, we haven't progressed. We're not progressing. The football's stale. The football's predictable, and we're not winning enough games. We are not winning enough games, and that's as simple as that. Top Shelf says there are so many players that want to play in the WSL in Europe and North America. We need new, but exactly, yeah. Players want to play, and that's a good point. They do. The top players want to play in England. We're one of the biggest clubs still. We've got the massive support. We play at the Emirates Stadium. What is there not to want to join Arsenal for? Why can we not attract these players? Why can we not get them? I don't understand it. But anyway, let's see what happens. LG says, I don't think Renee is bad tactically. Well, I don't know. I think she is. The problem is she's trying to keep certain players happy. Well, that's the same thing, isn't it? Beth Mead shouldn't be playing as much as she has in 2025. It's not 2022 anymore. I don't think Beth's really the issue. I think Beth's actually been playing okay this season, to be fair. I don't think we should necessarily be picking on Beth alone. I mean, I think her season's been okay. But you're right. The manager does seem to want to... She's got favourites and she's not want to upset them, it seems. But anyway, DMD says, and team players won the Euros. Yeah, we won the Euros, but that's gone, isn't it? I'd say that's gone. Matthew says they agree with LG. There are still players from the Joe era. Yeah, exactly, there is. And we haven't moved on all these years later. LG says we wouldn't have won the Champions League with Viv because it's would have meant we don't get Mariona. Exactly, yeah. That's why we need to be ruthless. Viv basically spent half the season in rehab. Exactly, yeah, no, I agree with that. I'd said that at the time. Matthew says most of us vets are slow. We need an overhaul. Exactly, yeah, you're exactly right. That's exactly what we need. And it hasn't happened. And if one game this season, more than any other, showed that, it was a Tottenham game for me. How stale it was, how lack of fresh ideas and everything. It was just horrible. It was a horrible game. I just didn't enjoy it at all. I really did not enjoy that game at all. It was horrible. But anyway, it sums up, I think, currently where we are. And of course, we ended this block on Wednesday night in the freezing cold. And although we got the win, was it really that good? And yes, the 3 points, fantastic. We needed those 3 points. It now puts us in a really good position in the group because we've got 2 winnable games to come to finish the group off. Should be enough to at least qualify for the playoff round, if not the top 4, which we could still get in the top 4 potentially. We could do if we win the games. But I was left feeling, I don't know, a little bit frustrated, not with the result. The result was brilliant. But again, the performance, I didn't think the performance was particularly good. You know, we had to go 1-0 down, another poor goal to concede from a set piece, which is a theme that's been ongoing. And the start of the second half was really poor. We could have been 2-0 down before we'd even kicked the ball in the second half. And we looked like, for me, I couldn't see us getting back in that game. And suddenly, what I thought was a rather lucky goal, a looping cross and a looping header at the goalkeeper. I don't know what she was doing, but it went in. And that changed everything. Suddenly, everyone got more confident. The atmosphere changed in the ground. And we went on. We dominated the rest of that game and probably deserved to win it for the last 25 minutes. But again, it was predictable subs. The two wingers, different two wingers, got taken off, changed the two wingers, the first substitution we make. It is so predictable. And I thought the way we played was predictable, apart from the last, that sort of 15, 20 minutes after we scored the equaliser, we played well, got the second goal, and then at the end we were hanging on. I mean, obviously, Andreas, you was in the ground. I know it was freezing cold, probably difficult to think properly. I know what it's like when it's that cold, but I don't know. We won the game and that's great. But what did you make of the performance? Because I didn't think it was that good, really, not overall.
Yeah, the problem is we already started to be thankful for a win, for some positive signs in our match, and we don't expect too much after the last results. And I think we started the first half good. The first 10 minutes was okay, but then then it was an even game, and you can call it a lucky strike from Caroline Weir. But she hit the ball perfectly, and no chance to prevent this ball from going in. This happens, but we lost the control over the game after about 10 minutes, and then once again I was happy when we went to halftime with only 1-0 down, and there was the hope that something could change, and then the first minute in the second half, Madrid must score a second goal. A sloppy pass, another mistake, and two chances for them, and this brought us back into the game. And when we call the goal from Caroline Weir a lucky strike, then it was a lucky header from Alessia for the equalizer. But anyway, it was Chloe Kelly to bring in this cross in the second attempt. First she had lost the ball, then she brought the ball in, and that's what we need. We need to bring balls in the box of the opponents. There you can score goals, and then something lucky might happen. But if you play around the box and backwards and again in the midfield and all around, like in handball, around the box, and try to carry the ball into the goal, this doesn't happen very often. So you need to bring crosses in, passes, and everything. And then after the equalizer, you could see that the team gets a bit of confidence back. Everybody was believing, we can turn it around. And maybe everybody was thinking on the Bayern Munich game a week before when they were 2-0 down and could turn it around. Why shouldn't we turn it around now that we are equal, 1-1? And Leslie Russo with another fantastic header after a set piece this time. And in the end, Renee made changes that to secure the win. She brought another defender on. She brought Laia Codina on, and I thought, finally, she understood that sometimes you have to defend a small lead like 2-1 or 1-0 and bring it home, and not make all the subs you have on your paper. And for me, one result of this game is Chloe Kelly and Olivia Smith on the wings. Start them, not bring them on for 10 or 15 minutes. And start Kyra Cooney-Cross when Kim Little is not available. She is the better number 6 than Mariona, and it gives Mariona the chance to play more up front, more as number 8 or 10. And don't try again Alessia Russo as a number 10. She's a striker, she's a number 9, and you see she scores goals if she's in the box. And her hold-up play and everything is just fantastic. I think she's one of the best in Europe concerning her hold-up play, the way she protects the ball or wins the ball. Another point from the Madrid game, it's I think the third game in a row when Katie McCabe was on a yellow card and had to be substituted because there was the danger of getting a second yellow or a red card. And a player like Katie McCabe, with her experience, she should be more disciplined, because if she gets a second yellow, then it's not that she's out for this game or for the next game, but it's also then a big problem for the team. And a player 30 or 31 years old, she must be more disciplined. She must be a leader in the team and not someone who is a threat for the team and you have to take her off and change your tactics. So for me, it would be start Taylor Hines and let Katie McCabe sit on the bench and think about why I'm sitting on the bench now for 2 or 3 games in a row. Maybe I should be more disciplined. Maybe it's a learning effect for her. Yeah. So that's some thoughts from me to this game.
I agree. I mean, Katie McCabe, like you said, it's not the first time she's had to come off early because of a stupid yellow card. And at the end of the day, you can't keep doing that. She should be more experienced. She should be more sensible to not put herself in that position, not put the team in that position, because quite easily we could be down to 10 players. And obviously we know that makes life 10 times more difficult. So, yeah, Katie McCabe, I don't know. I think that's at the moment seems to sum up some sort of issue within the team. They don't seem as happy. They don't seem as, I don't know, something's not right. And I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's clearly not right, is it? CFC Riley's with us, says, good evening, Richard and Andreas. I think you're being harsh on Rene. The players are to blame for your inconsistent performances. I'm a Chelsea fan and I can lay our poor run on the manager. Well, if you can lay your poor run on the manager, why can't we? You know, at the end of the day, the players are, yes, the players are on the pitch and need to do better. Absolutely. No problem with that at all. But ultimately, how a team plays, how a team's set up, how substitutions are managed and all this kind of stuff, that is on the manager. And ultimately, the results are on the manager. If the team aren't performing, the players aren't performing, you make changes. You don't pick the same team every week, which is what our manager's doing. You know, we've got a squad of players. We can rotate, we can move players around, we can play different wingers together, we can do different things, but she doesn't change enough. And to me, that's a manager issue as much as the players need to do better. I totally agree. Riley says, but with Arsenal, I blame recruitment and players not getting up for the smaller games. Rene is honestly a great tactician. Well, why are the players not getting up for these games? Where does that come from? Yes, the players themselves individually, but I don't think you can say the players aren't ready up for the games. We won the Champions League. They've won big trophies, these players. Most of them have won lots of different trophies at various points. If you're not up for a game, that comes from inside in the changing room before the game. That comes from the training during the week, building up to the game. That's when all these things are put in place. And yes, on the day, the players have got to go out and do it. But if that's made easy for them, if all through the week it's all about getting that execution right, they're more likely to go out and be able to get that execution right. And if they're not, you have to look at the manager. And I don't think she is a great tactician. I don't see anything that she's done, certainly this season, that's made me think, oh, wow, she out-tacticked that team. She out-tacticked that team. No, if anything, it's been the other way around. We've been out-tacticked in a lot of games against teams that normally in previous years we've swept aside, and suddenly now they've figured out how Rene's going to play. And as Andreas said, the Real Madrid manager knew before the game. That's not the result of Arsenal having a great tactician as a manager. That's the result of having a manager who keeps doing the same things all the time and it not working and not being able to change it. So, you know, don't get me wrong, I like Rene, right? She's a great person. She speaks really well most of the time when she's not talking nonsense like she did after the Tottenham game. But she, you know, clearly the players like her. Clearly she's a likable person. There's no doubt about that. But when it comes down to it, I always judge anything to do with a team and a club. You've got to judge it what's happening on the pitch. And if it's not good enough on the pitch, you've got to look, why isn't it working? What's different to last season? And I don't know. I think the manager is the issue, one of the pretty much the biggest issue. Kate is a ticking time bomb. She's always a ticking time bomb, but you've got to manage that better. She's got to do it herself, Katie, as well. She's not stupid. She's played the game long enough. She's been sent off enough times to know you've got to stop doing stupid things like that. Stop getting some of them yellow cards that she's got as well. They've just been stupid yellow cards as well, haven't they? Just pointless yellow cards that she didn't need to get involved with. Don't do it. Just concentrate on the game. And yeah, I agree. I think she should be maybe given a spell out of the team for a while. Give Taylor Hines a run, who's looked pretty decent now, settling in, looking a lot better. And yeah, I think that's what we need to do. I just agree. Matthew said, just like Kelly is aggressive, I like that. Can't be soft. No, there's nothing wrong with being aggressive. It's how you. I mean, sometimes Chloe Kelly can be a little bit like takes things a little bit too far, but you can be aggressive. Absolutely no problem with that. But you've got to be sensible. You've got to do it in the right way. And Katie McKay often doesn't. That's the problem. She ends up getting herself booked and sent off because she can't control it. It's got to be controlled aggression. You can't just be reckless aggression, because that's what Katie McCabe is. Whereas I think Chloe Kelly, more often than not, is a little bit more controlled aggression. She's good at winding opposition players up and stuff like that, which is a good thing. But she tends to do it in a more, I don't know, sensible way. She doesn't get as many silly cards. I mean, she got a silly card the other day, but generally she doesn't. Matthew says, desire starts from when you start playing a game. A manager can only remind you. No, but I mean, none of these players got to the top level. None of these players won the Champions League or won the Euros without having that desire built into them. I don't think you even make it at top level sport, whatever sport it is, if you don't have that desire already in you. And what the manager's got to do is it's getting the group together and getting that desire all pushed in the right direction. That's the manager's job to do that. Individually, the players have got that, but maybe some of them have got it more on an individual level. Katie McCabe maybe being one of them, but the manager's job's got to get all that together and get everybody pushing that desire in the right direction. That's how you become a successful team. Everybody, every single player in the WSL, every single player probably in the Championship, you know, at the top level of football or any sport, has got that desire, or they wouldn't have made it. They would have dropped away years ago. They wouldn't be at the top. And that comes from them. The manager's job is to get that working as a team. And if the manager can't do it, you can't blame the player and say, well, they haven't got the desire. They have, or they wouldn't be where they are. It's the manager to push that and channel that correctly so you get the best out of your team. And I just don't think Renee's doing that. Agneta says the Irish temperament. Well, it is maybe, but you know, she's 30 years old now. She's not a kid anymore. She's got to learn, really. And it's going to end up costing us, as it has previously when she's been sent off. Ryan says the Guinness. Well, yeah, maybe it's too much of the Guinness maybe when she was younger. I don't know. But yeah, that is a problem. One of many problems at the minute, unfortunately. And yeah, I don't know. Yes, it was good that we beat Real Madrid. We needed to win, and that was so important. But you know, I put it in the title of the show. To me, that win's just literally papered over the cracks a bit. You know, it's done is, you know, a lot of the fans now would have gone away the other night happy. We've got 3 points, fantastic, brilliant, which is great, but not really then thinking about the real issues that are still there and haven't changed. Yes, even if we'd played 100% against Real Madrid and won 4-0, those underlying issues would probably still be there. But at least that's a good thing, a building block to move forward on. That performance against Real Madrid on Wednesday doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence coming back off the international break that suddenly it's all going to click together. It's the same when we beat Benfica, if you remember, in the last game before the international break last time. It was a very scrappy performance. We won the game, yeah, brilliant. But it didn't fill me with a lot of confidence that we was going to suddenly fire on. And okay, yeah, the Leicester game apart, we've been pretty inconsistent, haven't we, this block? And I want to talk about this block, actually, because at the start of it all, a few weeks ago, I remember we was on the show and we had comments in and we were talking about it ourselves, saying that this block could be make or break for the season. We said, didn't we? With the games that we had with Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, the North London Derby, all these games coming. And we kind of said that this is going to make or break the season. And as it's turned out, it hasn't really done either of those things. It hasn't suddenly put the season on the right track, but it hasn't completely derailed it. We've had a draw with Chelsea, which isn't the end of the world, although we should have won. Terrible result, really, and performance against Tottenham. Leicester was good. Bayern Munich was half good and half terrible, and then Real Madrid was a little bit of a mixed bag, a little bit flat, but we got the win. It's been very up and down, really. There hasn't been a level of performance throughout this block, has there, in all the games? You never know what's going to happen. The Leicester game was good to start it all, but then since then, it's been very up and down. Some good moments, good 45 minutes here and there, terrible 45 minutes elsewhere, and pretty flat in between it all. I mean, Andreas, what have you made of this block? Because I suppose it's proved that we're maybe not good enough and not where we should be, if anything else, but it hasn't made or broken the season completely, has it? We've managed to pick up some results. We've kept ourselves in with a chance in the Champions League. We're not going to win the WSL, but we're still battling away for that top three. I mean, what have you made of this block of games? Because I think it's not really, I don't know, it's been a little bit of a strange one for me.
I think this block showed that we are still able to perform and have very good games or part of the games, but we are not able to do it in a day-to-day business. We can't bring out the best of the team or to the best to what the team could be able to perform in every single game. And you don't win a league if you are not performing at your best day to day. And this block shows this team is not able. Yes, there are perfect performances. The first half in Munich was perfect football. You can't play better than in first half in Munich. We should have been 4-0 up. And then the game is brought to bed and we will win comfortably in Munich. Everybody would have been happy. But the second half was not good enough, and there were 20 minutes in this game terrible, and we lost the game in 20 or in 19 minutes, and that's the problem. And I think the last block showed that these parts of the game, when we lose everything, when we lose control, when we concede goals and lose games or lose. We are up and we concede the equalizer or something like that, or we fall behind. In every game, there was no game in which we performed on our top level for 90 minutes. And that's a problem this season and of this squad. They are still able to do magic, but not for 90 minutes and not game by game. So, and this goes back to the recruitment in the transfer window. We spoke about it many times in the last weeks that we threw away a very big chance in summer to make an overhaul of the team, and we trusted in the Champions League winning squad and said, they have another big shot in them. No, maybe they can surprise us in a domestic cup competition, or let's see. But for a whole season, for winning a title in the league, this team seems to be unable to do this. And what I also heard from Tim Stillman was it's the third manager in a row now for whom the first year is the best. It was under Joe. Second year he won the league. First he won first half season, he won the League Cup. Then in his first full season he won the league. Jonas in his first season missed the league title by 1 point. And Renee in her first season she won the Champions League. But the squad has not changed enough. As I said, too many players from the Montemurro era, and maybe they are not able to perform on their top level for week in, week out, and for a whole season. And that's a task for the recruitment team, for Claire Wheatley or whoever is responsible for this. They must realize this. And the last block with the result shows we are not a team that can win a league. Maybe we can win a domestic cup or have a good run in a domestic cup. Maybe we can qualify for the playoffs and the quarterfinals in the Champions League. But overall, it's not good enough, and this won't change. we can't say, next season we'll win the league. No, I'm sure that next season, with this squad, with no big overhaul, it won't be better. We will fall behind another position in the WSL. That's a big problem at the moment.
It is, yeah, absolutely, and yeah, and I think you're right. I think that maybe if nothing else, what this block has shown is it's shown where our limitations are rather than what our strengths are. I think more than anything, it's highlighted what's wrong more than it's kind of hidden what's wrong, if you see what I mean. I think last season, you know, the main difference is last season we had those really good spells in games where we'd score 3 or 4 goals in 10 minutes, and we did it so many times and we'd kill a game off. So it didn't matter that maybe we'd been a little bit poor before that and maybe the game was won, so we dropped off towards the end and we had that brilliant 10 or 15 minute spell where we scored all the goals. And we did that a lot of times last season. It wasn't just once or twice. We did it 5, 6, 7, 8 games where that happened. And the difference is this season, we're getting those poor spells. And when we do have a better spell in the game, we're not creating or scoring all those goals we were last season. So now those issues that maybe were hidden last season because we had a good 10-minute spell, this season, they're not being hidden because we're not having those spells in the same way. We're not scoring the goals when we've got those spells as we did last season for whatever reason. We're not creating the chances, and when we do, we're not scoring enough of them. So that's highlighted. It's brought it more into focus, hasn't it, for me? And maybe these problems were there last season. I don't think they wasn't. We managed to disguise it a lot last season, say because of all those goals that we scored. When we were good last season, we were really good, and it covered up the fact that when we wasn't so good, it wasn't very good. This season, when we're good, we're not good enough, and when we're not good, we're really poor. And that's those two things coming together is what's made this season so far what it is. Top Joel says Real has a good squad, don't forget that. No, they do, absolutely, and they're a good team. They played pretty well, I thought, on the night. Actually, I thought they probably deserved a draw. You know, the chances that they had, the football that they played, they were a good team and they played well. But you know, I'll take the fact that we managed to see it out and win, but they are a good team, absolutely. Vicky says, I agree, Renee has not got the tactics right in so many games this season. Yeah, I agree. I don't think she has. Agneta says, sorry, but I think Man City will win the WSL and buy in the Champions League. Really? Okay, well, there you go. It might happen. Top Shelf says, WSL, Chelsea, Champions League. Leon, hard to disagree with that, really. Ryan says, yes, Man City only dropped 3 points. Yeah, that was to Chelsea, of course, in the first game. They're looking good at the minute, but how many times have we seen Man City drop off later in the season? I know they're a different team now, but I don't know. And Vicky says, how many did Barca score against Bayern? Yeah, they did score a few, to be fair. Yeah, exactly. But that's a one-off game, isn't it? Who knows? And it says Bayern much better now. Well, yeah, they are, but I don't know. Matthew said, we need like 10 Russos with that physicality and intensity. Well, yeah, you're right, we do. But the one we've got is getting overplayed, I feel, and maybe needs a rest every so often. Chelma24 says, I watched Ian Wright's podcast today and he was talking about how Arsenal need to move on from aging squad and integrate younger. But well, there you go, because he watches our show, doesn't he, Ian Wright? Obviously, he's saying exactly the same things we've been saying for months. So now he's going to get all the credit for saying it, whereas we came up with the idea like last season. So come on, Wright, give us credit, mate. Don't nick our ideas. Vicky says the manager gets the best out of these players. Man City so much better without Taylor. Well, yeah, I kind of agree with that. I don't think too many people could disagree at all. LG says, would you get rid of Kim Little if it meant getting Sam Kofi and Georgia Stanway? I definitely would. Risks need to be taken. No, I agree. I mean, I would get rid of Kim Little anyway, just on her age alone. Yes, when she needs replacing, don't do a Leah Volti and get rid of her and not replace her. We still haven't replaced Leah Volti, so that's got to be one priority. But I would be looking to move Kim Little on, as important as she is, and as still a good player as she is. She's still not going to be playing in our team in 3 or 4 years' time, is she? We need to start making those changes. We need to freshen the squad up, bring younger. There's loads of young players out there that are going to be for the future as well, that can do a job now, but will also still be here in 4 years' time, improving and getting better and making us a better team. LG says, Man City had a summer overhaul and now they are top of the league. are really looking likely to end Chelsea's dominance. Well, at the moment they are, but we've seen it all before with City. I'm not convinced quite yet, but they're doing very well at the moment. They're looking a good side. Top Show says Chelsea getting all their injured players back. Yeah, I mean, we know what's going to happen with Chelsea, don't we? We just know it. It happens every year. Agnes says, yeah, but now Man City has a Swedish manager and Sweden. Well, there you go. You see, get the Swedes involved, and there you go. They've got IKEA furniture in the dressing room now, and in the dining room for all their dinner and that. That's all you need, isn't it? And they all get a free Volvo as well, so it's all good. But yeah, I mean, Chelsea will probably win it, but we shouldn't be. We should be in that conversation, shouldn't we? It should be us saying, well, maybe it's going to be our year. Maybe we can do it this year. And already we're not even at Christmas yet, and we're done in the league, aren't we? We're done, you know, and that's the problem. And it's not just this season, is it? It's the same year after year after year after year, usually. And okay, yeah, Jonas's first season, as we mentioned, we went close. We were there all the way through the season. Just a couple of stupid points here and there that cost us. But other than that season, if you look at the last, 6 or 7 seasons, we're not in the league, are we? We're not in the title race. We're out of it early on. And that's not really, for this amount of time now, it's not good enough. This should have been the season. We said it in the summer, didn't we, after the Champions League? This is the season to push on, won the Champions League, push on and win the WSL. That should have been the main focus this season. And it doesn't seem to be. The main focus seems to be the Champions League. When you look at the fact that suddenly the WSL games, Rene was picking the same team pretty much game after game, the odd little change here and there. Suddenly we play Real Madrid in the Champions League. Suddenly it's wholesale changes. You know, suddenly Chloe Kelly's back in the team. Olivia Smith's back in the team. Yes, okay, they both maybe had a couple of injuries, but, you know, suddenly the team looked a little bit fresher. The lineup looked fresher for the Champions League. Why didn't we do that against Tottenham? Maybe we'd have won that game. Why didn't we do that a couple of games before in the league, freshen it up a bit? No, she waited and then does it in the Champions League as though suddenly we've won the Champions League and she wants to win it again and not bothered about anything else. Well, yes, it'd be great to win it again, but I can't see how that's possible. At least last season, when, even though I didn't think we'd ever win it, the fact is we were playing some great football, and you gave you hope that something might happen and it might be something good could happen. But watching the football this season, I can't see anything good happening, if I'm honest. LG says, this is why Leah Volti has earned my respect, even though she wasn't my favourite player. She said she achieved everything at the club and it was time to move on. Should have been the same with the others. Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, that's fair enough, isn't it? Top Shelf says the draw against Chelsea and Tottenham was a left hook to the chin. Well, yeah, certainly the Tottenham one more so. I mean, yes, Chelsea, we know we maybe should have won that game, but Tottenham was just a terrible, terrible performance, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Chelmer24 says, if Germa stays fit whole season, Chelsea will win the league. Millie has been the reason Chelsea have been conceding. Yeah, I think Millie's another one, isn't she? Maybe she's kind of at that point now where it needs to be maybe moved on, and I'm sure Chelsea will do that as well. And it says, Walty was so good in the Euros, yeah, but we didn't replace. I've got no issue with Leo Walty wanting to leave. Fair enough, no problem. I've got no problem with anybody wanting to leave and the club agreeing to it. It's replacing. You just replace them, don't you? We're a big enough club. If someone wants to leave, that's fine. We'll get someone else in. We'll get someone better in, someone younger. That's what we haven't done, and that's the problem that we've got. And now, for me, this block of games has shown that quite clearly, that we are now paying for a terrible summer of recruitment, not building on that fantastic success, and it's showing up all of the flaws in Rene's management, tactical coaching, and everything else, I think. But you know, this is where we are, and the season is not even halfway through really yet, and we shouldn't really be feeling like this. We should be feeling excited, and it's very difficult to keep feeling excited when you're watching week after week the way we've been playing, you know. And I can only hope now, and maybe, you know, you see the national break coming. I remember last time, before the last international break, we had a couple of wins, but we hadn't been playing particularly well. And I remember we were sitting here and we said, you know what, maybe this international break's come at a good time. We've just had a couple of wins, everyone can go away, reset, and we'll come back and we'll be ready to go and we can kick on and the season can really go, this big block of games. And here we are now, 4 or 5 weeks later, we did exactly the same. This international break has probably come at a good time because we're not playing particularly well. We managed to scrape a little bit of a victory on the other night. And my worry is we're going to come back in a couple of weeks' time and it'll be exactly the same again. It'll be exactly the same as this last block of games. And yet we've got a great opportunity this time again to go away on the international break and refresh, you know, have some fun with your country and all that kind of stuff, which is great, and then come back and be ready. And that didn't happen last time. It does feel like deja vu, doesn't it? Now sitting here as it did going into the last international break, we was a bit more excited then, because I was looking forward to this block, thinking, yes, we turned the corner now. We've had a couple of wins, we can push on, and it's not happened, is it?
Yeah, it's another chance. This international break, it comes at a good time for us. And if you look at the next block in the WSL, we're playing Liverpool at home, Everton away. In Champions League, Twente at home and Leuven away. We are the Arsenal. We should win all 4 games.
Yep.
And in this international break, we should regroup, and the coaching staff should prepare for all these 4 opponents, and give the players the confidence that they are able to beat these 4 teams. No other thing counts than 4 wins, and we are the better team, the better squad than all 4 of them. But yeah, another problem is that we are relying too much on a 35-year-old midfielder. As good as Kim is, and she had a very good season until she got injured. Really, she was better than I expected her to be in this season. But we are relying too much on her. Of course, yes, we are missing Leah Williamson, but this was one player out from 24 or 25 in the squad. Yes, she's important. She's the captain of the Lionesses, yes. But if one player is out with injury, a squad like Arsenal should be able to cope with this. And then, a 35-year-old midfielder gets injured, and we totally collapse in the Champions League game against Bayern. So, yes, we made mistakes in summer to not regroup, to not rebuild the team, to not get a replacement for Leah Wolti, to not have a replacement for Kim Little, and now we are paying for this. There is only one player who can play on the number 6 position. That's Kim Little. She's out. Mariona is the only number 6. No, she's not a number 6. If we play Mariona at the number 6, we miss her at the 8 or 10 position. And what I also have to say, Mariona often loses the ball, or with her passes, the ball lands at the opponent's side. And if she does it as a number 10, there is enough space on the pitch to win the ball back. But if she loses the ball in a defensive role, it causes a goal threat, like it did against Munich. And that's another problem. Relying on Kim was wrong in summer. Nothing against Kim. She's one of the greatest players we ever had, and she's still a fantastic midfielder in her mid-30s. Yes, no critics on Kim Little, but we overplayed her. She had to play every game 90 minutes. It was quite clear that there will come an injury. And now we are missing Leah and Kim, and we say we have no leader on the pitch. We have so many experienced elder players. There must be leaders there. And didn't we know this before? Didn't we know this in summer? You must think about it. We only have Leah and Kim as leaders. What will happen if one or both get injured? You must prepare for this situation. And all these are mistakes that we are paying now for. And this is frustrating for us as supporters. And maybe we are too critical or too negative about Renee. Maybe. But then that's my frustration level after the last block of games. I'm sorry.
No, I totally agree. And yeah, the lack of leaders on the pitch is quite worrying. But the biggest issue for me is the point you made about Mariona. Last season, Mariona was player of the year. She was player of the season, right? Why was she player of the season? Because she was playing in a position where she could be player of the season. So the last thing you would do when you're sitting down in the summer thinking, right, what are we going to do with the team this season? How are we going to play? The last thing that you would do is, well, let's move Mariona to a different position. She's just won player of the year. She's been the best player in Europe for the whole of the season. She made the difference to help us win the Champions League. But let's move her away from that position where she was fantastic and put her into a position where she's never going to be as effective, because we can't be bothered to buy a player to play in that position. I mean, I don't know, that to me is almost just moving Mariona away from the position that she played last season. That's almost a criminal offence. You should almost go to prison for that, because you do not do that. You do not do that when she played so well. Like, if Mariona had been struggling a bit and she was inconsistent, not finding her form, and you're thinking, okay, maybe we can shift her around to try and get the best out of her, fair enough. I would say maybe try it. But the fact is, last season, there was not a player as good as her in the league anywhere. No player could touch her last season. So you just leave her where she is. And if you have to make changes around because of, players missing and players injured and whatever it is, you move other people and you leave her where she is, because that's worked. You leave her where she is and you leave Leslie Russo where she was. That was what brought us a lot of the success we had last season. Don't move them about. Of course, it's not going to be as good. To me, that's just that's I don't know. I find it almost unforgivable. And at the beginning of the season, what I thought was she was playing Mariona a bit deeper because Leah Volti had gone, and it was just a brief little thing just to maybe settle the team in. And now here we are, 10, 15 games later, and she's still playing her there. It's like, that's unforgivable. It is unforgivable. You can see Mariona's face after time. She looks unhappy. She's not expressing herself like she did last season. Yes, maybe she's taken on a little bit more responsibility to a certain degree, but her performances on the pitch are just nowhere near the level that she can do. She doesn't look as though she's enjoying it, and she's your best player. What you do with your best player is you say to you basically, what I would do is I would say to Mariona, where do you want to play? And just play where she wants to play, because she's the best player, and everybody else you put around her. If you need more defensive cover around her, because yes, she does lose the ball a lot in the attacking third. Last season she did, but no one cared because she was losing it there. But when she didn't lose it, it was fantastic. And so you make compensation for that. She's going to lose the ball, so you just get some cover around her, and that's fine. And it worked, and it was brilliant. Just do that. Get her to play in a position where you get the best out of her. Everything else will fall into place around her, like it did last season. So to move her into this ridiculous position that just isn't doing her any favours, and subsequently isn't doing the team any favours, and to persist with it now, all this time later, is ridiculous. I would rather, and I know this is going to sound stupid, I would rather play Vicky Pelova and Kyra Cooney-Cross in midfield and leave Mariona out if you're going to play Mariona as number 6. I'd rather not play her at all. Leave her out and play them two. Or I play Mariona in a proper position and sort the team out behind her. Those are the two options. Don't keep playing her there. Just do not keep playing. I don't want to see Mariona playing that position again. I don't want to see her play there. And if her next game after the international break against Liverpool, if she's playing in that number 6 position again, then it's just, I don't know. It's ridiculous. It would be ridiculous. It would be honestly ridiculous. I just cannot understand it. Ryan says, need to break the transfer record for Bon Matty. Well, I don't know. Vicky's made a good point here. I would prefer a top manager to Bon Matty, and that is exactly the point. I agree with you. I'm almost at the point now where it's like, don't let Rene get any more players in. Get a proper manager to manage this group of players properly first, and then we can start looking at building around it. I think wasting, if you want to call it that, wasting money, if you like, bringing players in for this manager that isn't going to be able to get the best out of them, quite clearly, isn't the best option for the club going forward. I don't think. I would rather break the bank and get the best manager we can, and we know who we think that is. But I would rather do that than bring in a player like Bon Matty, who is a great player and would probably improve us. But long term, under this manager, would it work? I don't know. I'm not convinced it would. LG says the difference is that Rene consistently watched the show last season. We gave her advice on how to beat Barca, and she listened, and we did exactly that. Yeah, maybe she's not watching it this season. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe she needs to, Ian Wright's been watching. Maybe he needs to have a word with her and get her in. And Top said Rodman was offered more money from Grainbridge Super League yesterday. Yeah, we're not going to get Rodman, I don't think. LG says Russo and Mariona are also massively overplayed. If we lose one of them, our season is over. Yeah, no, they are massively overplayed. Well, yeah, I said this before. Russo in particular is 90 minutes every single game. And no player, no matter how good they are, can do that. Everybody needs a rest every now and again. And it's got to happen. She's got to be rested. And Mariona the same. She's played every game. CFC Riley says that Arsenal should have moved on from Little, Catley, McCabe, Mead, Lotta in the summer, and nothing against them, but was time. Well, yeah, a lot of that I agree with. I mean, talking about Lotta, actually, I did want to, I maybe forgot before, but I just wanted to actually say how well Lotta's been playing the last couple of games. I think she's been really good. I thought she had a good game against Madrid. I thought she's been playing pretty well last 3 or 4 games. Actually, Lotta, have you been impressed with her? Because, you know, she's been out of the team. She lost her place to Katie Reid, obviously, earlier in the season. Now Katie Reid's out. She's come in, and I think she's been brilliant, Lotta. Do you agree? Do you think she's been good?
She has improved in the last games, and it shows that more minutes give more confidence to a player. And one thing is very good and impressive from her. She's trying to play the long balls out and to open our game in a way like Leah normally does it. She's trying it, and sometimes it works, and very often she finds Leslie Russo with the long balls, and we know how good Leslie is in protecting the ball and in the hold-up play. Or she plays a long ball to Olivia Smith. That's good, but typical for Lotta, a few mistakes, a few sloppy passes. I think the one after 10 seconds or so in second half to Steph Catley was from Lotta, and this could have cost the second goal. You always have this in her game. There are always 2, 3 sloppy passes, mistakes, and this could cost us. But overall, she has improved a lot, and you see that with more minutes on the pitch, she improves from game to game. It was important that she steps up now that Katie Reid is out and Leah is not close to a comeback. But what would happen if Lotta gets injured? Probably Renee will say, "Oh, Mariona can play as a centre back. She's so good technically. I can play her as a number 4, and then Leslie Russo, or she can play the number 6, the holding midfield." Hopefully, this will not happen. But this sometimes these thoughts come up when you see how our team or how our squad is managed.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's almost like sometimes you're right. It's almost like Renee thinks she's got a 5-a-side team, so Mariona and Letty can play anywhere because it's 5-a-side, and that's what she'll do. Well, in actual fact, that's not what it is, and you can't do that. Ryan says, "Yeah, Mariona is just stifled in midfield." Yes, she is. Greg says, he says, "Our problem is the left side, full runs, but our distribution is abysmal, and McCabe is out of position too much."
Yep.
Yeah, that's been the case this year. I mean, I like Caitlin Ford, but yeah, she holds on to the ball for too long. She makes the wrong choices too often. She'll pass when she should shoot, or she'll shoot when she should pass, or she'll take an extra touch. I think Beth does it as well, actually. Takes that extra touch instead of getting a crossing or a shot away, and then it's blocked or it loses the ball. So yeah, it has been a bit of a problem. It has been a bit of a problem. We do look better when, well, funny enough, Olivia Smith's not really played much on the left, but when she played on the left the other night, she looked good, I thought. And then she got taken off 5 minutes later when she was just starting to cause problems. What are you taking her off for? She's just started to get in the game and run rings around the defender and get the ball into the box and create mayhem, and she took her off. Anyway, I guess she was just back from injury, so maybe that was why. But anyway, I guess that's what it is. Ryan says Bob Matty would probably end up at left back or maybe centre back if Lotta gets injured. You're probably right, actually. That would be funny, wouldn't it? Matthew says these players need upgrading. A manager can't make them faster or younger. No, you're right. And I think we've been saying that as well. The players do need upgrading, but while they're here, the manager's got to get the best out of them, get more out of them. Vicky says Lotta have been good this season, no complaints from me. Yeah, I think she has. Yeah, I think she stepped in and stepped up and done well, actually, which is good. LG says the problem is it's always rinse and repeat with Lotta. She can be good or she can be terrible. That's why it's time to go. I wouldn't say she can be good. I think sometimes in games she can make the odd mistake. Yes, I agree. She can have a great game, and then I remember that Wolfsburg game in the Champions League the other year. She had a brilliant game, and then right at the end, in extra time, she did something stupid, lost the ball, and we conceded and went out. And that sums up what she does for me. But I don't think it's time for her to go. I think there's other players that should be moved on before Lotta. I think Lotta's still got quite a bit to offer, and particularly in defence when we're quite short at the minute, especially with Leah out as well. I think Lotta's the only leader we've really got there in a sense. I mean, yes, Steph Catley's been the captain, but she's not, for me, a captain really. I think Lotta's the leader in that team at the minute when everyone else is out, really, and she stepped up and done really well. So I definitely wouldn't get rid of her now. Greg says Lotta is too slow and her long balls are terrible. She's not the answer, too inconsistent. See, I think this season she's not been inconsistent though, has she? This season she's been really solid and she's been good. Pretty much every game she's played. I would say in the past, I would agree with that. I think she did used to be a bit inconsistent and she always had a terrible mistake in her. But I think she is slow. Obviously, we know that. That's never been a strength. But I don't know. I think we're all being a little bit harsh on Lotta. Actually, I think Lotta's doing all right. I've got to be honest. I think Lotta's doing all right. But the issues are elsewhere. There's more urgent issues elsewhere in the team and the squad than Lotta. I think she's playing well. At the moment, anyway, at least. But she still probably won't get any minutes for England, will she? Because Serena just, I can understand in the past she wasn't maybe playing much for Arsenal, so she's probably not going to play. But now she's had 4, 5, 6 games for Arsenal in a row. She's played well. Do you think Serena might use her in this break? Obviously, with Millie Bright now retired from England, there seems to be a position at centre back. Especially with Leah's out as well at the moment as well. So there's 2 positions at centre back, really. Do you think Lotta might get some minutes this time? Because she deserves at least some time on the pitch, doesn't she? Surely.
Yeah, she would deserve it. And this was one thought I had in the Madrid game. She's good and she deserved to be recognized from Serena. But Jess Carter is not in the squad because she has played too much, or she's playing with Gotham, the NWSL finals, and Serena said she will give her time to recover. So who's going to play at the centre back? Esme Morgan and Alex Greenwood is out with injury. So Esme Morgan and Maya Le Tissier. But anyway, it's 2 games against China, and it's what's the other, Ghana. It would be nice if Lotta gets at least 1 chance or 45 minutes or so. I think for the way she lives football, or she loves playing for club and country. I would be happy for her. And if not now, when do you want to play her in the Lionesses team? I hope she will get at least 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think at this moment in time, there's certainly opportunities in that position, isn't there, in the team for these 2 games at least, if nothing else. And she's been to 2 Euros, she's been to tournaments and not got on the pitch, so she deserves some time. She's never let England down when she has played. On the few occasions she's played all right. She got player of the match in one game, I seem to remember, a year or 2 ago when she played, scored a goal and played really well. So yeah, she's been a bit unfortunate. She keeps getting in the squad, but no further. So let's hope she can get on the pitch this time, because I think she does deserve it. Greg says a lot of playing for England would be good, so the keeper could get a lot more practice. That's very harsh, Greg. That is very harsh, my friend. We do like that. LG says Smith is probably our most powerful shooter, and playing her on the left gets her into those shooting positions because she can cut in on her stronger right foot. I think she's better on the left. Yeah, when she's played on the left, certainly I thought the other night she looked really good. She caused them a lot of problems, didn't she? She, especially as the game wore on, she got better and better. And I'd like to see her play on the left a lot more. Actually, I would like to see that. And maybe her on the left, Chloe Kelly on the right. That looks like a good combination, doesn't it? Getting balls into the box. That's maybe what we need to do a bit more of. And maybe we'll see that happen a bit more now after this international break, but we'll have to see. Greg says, Lotta's passing against Madrid was to the opposition, not our players. Well, not all of them were. I mean, I like a player who's prepared to take some risks sometimes. Don't just play a simple pass 5 yards to a player all the time. Yeah, you need to do that. You need to keep possession as well. But I like a player who's prepared to try a long ball, to try something a bit different. And it won't always come off. And that's fair enough. You know what I mean? No player in the world is going to make those passes every single time. It's not possible to do. You're always they're not going to come off. But at least be prepared to try it. And I like Lotta for doing that. And I'll never criticize Lotta for trying those things. I'm more critical of players who just want to do the simple things all the time because they're not prepared to take a risk. and there's too much of that sometimes in the men's team. I think, you know, they're programmed to play a certain way, and they don't take any chances, most of them. And I don't like that. I like players who are prepared to, you know, to gamble a little bit sometimes, and that's what wins your games. If you're prepared to gamble, sometimes that can be the difference between winning and not winning. So I like that. I've got no problem with trying to play the long passes and trying to open teams up. I like that. You know, yes, she's not as good as Leah at it, of course not, but Leah's one of the best in the world, so no one's going to be as good as her at it. But yeah, try it, and when it works, it's brilliant. And if it doesn't work, well, at least she's losing the ball in the other half of the pitch, not in front of our own goal most of the time. You know, play to percentages. You know what I mean? Play the simple ball when you can, and don't give it away. But I've got no problem with it. I actually quite like that. And then it says Germany will win, and Sweden. Germany and Sweden play. I've forgotten what's happening in the Nations League. I haven't been watching it really.
Now, Germany and Spain are playing the finals in the Nations League. It's a 2-legs final. First leg in Germany, the second one in Spain, and Sweden and France are playing for the 3rd place in the Nations League.
Ah, right. That'd be quite a good final, that, won't it, actually? That'd be pretty good, I would have thought. Spain against Germany would be pretty spicy. Couple of good games there. LG makes a good point there. Erdegaard's role, pass a simple ball to Saki. Exactly, yeah. That's what I mean. Players that don't want to take a risk. I don't like that. I like players who are prepared to, you know, take people on. And Olivia Smith is one of them. Chelmer says all Olivia Smith needs is a top manager to support her. Look at how Sonia is. Back in top, and she's secured the left wing, adapting well to a new league and performing impressively. I don't know if that's. I don't think it's just as simple as that. Yes, you're not wrong. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I think Olivia Smith has had one or two little, niggly injuries, so we've heard, and maybe that's been holding her back a little bit and stopped her getting a run of consistently in the team. And maybe now she can get fit, she might be able to go on a run, play 5, 6, 7 games in a row, and then we'll start to see a similar thing. I don't think that Renee hasn't backed her. I think she's maybe had a few injuries, and that's why she hasn't played as much, maybe. But let's see what happens. I mean, it's, you know, we're going to find out sooner or later, because the team's crying out for Olivia Smith, you know, someone to do that, with pace, to run at players, take people on and stuff like that. That's what we need. And let's see what happens going forward. But yeah, she needs to play more, absolutely, because she's a player that gets you excited. You know, too much of it's been stale. And Olivia Smith's the one player that does something unexpected. You know, she will take people on. She doesn't care. She'll go past 2 or 3 players. She did it the other night a few times, didn't she? Brilliant. Quick feet in the box, going around defenders. And that's what we, you know, as a fan, you want to see that, don't you? Yes, you need to have end products as well. You need to be scoring goals, having assists and stuff as well. But the more she plays, the more that will come. You know, and you know, maybe she hasn't helped herself that scoring that goal in her first game. I think everybody's expectations have gone through the roof with her. You know, we paid £1 million for her. She scores a brilliant goal on her debut, and suddenly everyone's thinking, oh, she's the best player in the world now. Obviously, you've got her doing, yes, she's had injuries and stuff, and it hasn't quite worked for her, but she is an exciting player, and I just want to see her fit and play more often, because she is one of those players that gets you off your seat, and you want to see them on the ball, don't you? And that's what we've been lacking a little bit. So let's see what happens. I mean, if she's fit and Renee still doesn't play her much, then we'd have to really question it then, wouldn't we? But you're right. She needs to be backed, and she needs to be given. She needs to be playing to settle into the team and get going. I think that's a Smith from Canada. Yeah, she's from Canada. Yeah. Olivia Smith is, yeah. And she's still only young, don't forget. You know, she's still only young, so she's not always going to be consistent. She's not going to do 9 out of 10 performances every week. She's going to have in and out games and stuff like that. But we need to manage her, get her in the team, play her, and let her get through that, and let her build that consistency, because it will come, because she's a fantastic player. We know that. But yeah, I don't know. It just feels very, very flat at the minute. It really does. Greg says, what annoys me watching the women, when the ball is out wide, our opposite winger is in the middle of the park and not wide in the spaces. Well, yeah, that's one of the things. It annoys me a little bit that, especially the other night, we were putting in some crosses and no one's in there. No one's in the box. No one's trying to even make an effort to get on the end of them. And it's like, come on, Chloe Kelly was putting some great balls in, actually, in the first half. No one was getting on the end of them. No one was even making that effort to get on the end of them. That's what frustrates me. If you're going to play a system where you want to get the ball wide to your wide players and get crosses in, that's great. But then you've also got to have a system where the midfield are making runs into the box. Your centre forward's always in there. Leslie Russo tends to drop deep and go wide to get involved. and then it needs one of the midfield players. I can see why Frida played the other night, because she will make them runs into the centre forward position when Leslie drops out. But the other night, she didn't really do that enough, especially in the first half. She was on the edge of the box, and I don't know. But anyway, lots of things for me need to improve and change if we're going to be successful. Vicky says, agree, we play too narrow. Yeah. And when we do play it wide, I say we've got no one in there in the box to get on the end of it all. But anyway, it's work to be done. And, we said this a few weeks ago before the break. Work needs to be done. Renee and the coaching staff need to use the couple of weeks to work on things. And then we come out and we have the games that we've had, and it's like, did they really do anything? Did they work on anything different? I didn't see anything different in those games. Yes, some half-decent spells in games, yes, but not really good enough consistency-wise. And that needs to improve. It does, because, the season is getting to a point now where, we are in a battle for the top three. I think that's obvious now. That's where we are, against some really good opposition as well. That's not going to make it easy for us. And we've got the domestic cup still. We are a cup team, I think, aren't we? I think we don't have that consistency to win the league. That's obvious. That hasn't been the case for a while. But we are capable of pulling off a game here and there, aren't we, in a cup competition? We've shown it. We can beat anyone in the cups. We've beaten Chelsea in 2 finals. We've beaten Barcelona in a final. We've overcome Lyon in a semi-final. We've beaten Man City in semi-finals. We've done all these great one-off games, which is fine. But, yeah, that consistency week in, week out to pick up all those points, we haven't done it enough. Greg says, I'm not a great fan of Frida, I think you must mean, not Friday. Everyone's a fan of Friday because it's Friday, isn't it? But she works her socks off against Madrid. No, she did. She works hard. I like Frida. I must admit, she's not the greatest player in the world, but she brings a lot to the team. I think when she plays, she does make them great runs into the box. She gets on the end of things. She can score goals. She does work hard. Yes, sometimes her touch lets her down and stuff like that, and she's never going to generally run past 3 or 4 players and do something special. But I like Frida. And yeah, I think she offers something different that no one else really in that squad can do what Frida does, what Frida brings. She's the only player that can do that, really. The only player in midfield. She's very advanced in the team, and I quite like her. I've got no problem with her. But no, you're right. She did work really hard. I thought everybody worked hard. I don't think working hard is the problem. I think they're all working hard, but that's the minimum you expect. It's the next stage that's not happening, is it? You can work and work and work is brilliant, but it's the rest of it that's not quite happening consistently enough in games, even. And yeah, I mean, I know we've got an international break now, which is sort of good in a way, because I quite like watching the Lionesses anyway, and they're going to be 2 decent games against teams that we don't play very often, so that's going to be nice. But are you looking forward to this next block of games? Like you said, they're games we should win, but it's nothing to get too excited about, really, is it? We haven't got any of the big games to play. It's it's kind of been a bit flat anyway. It's kind of like, just let's get to Christmas and see where we are. I mean, or are you actually really looking forward to this next block?
Yes, absolutely. It maybe not for top teams we are playing, but we have really goals to achieve in this next block. Winning 2 league games is so important to be in the race for the 3rd place, and in Champions League we have to collect as many points as possible. We won't reach the first 4 positions. We'll be in the playoffs normally, but to finish between 5 and 8 would be important. Then you play the teams from 9 to 12, and you have the first leg away, and the second you can turn it around at home. So it would be important to have 6 points out of these 2 games and maybe finish 6th or 7th in the table, and then play against, I don't know, Valorenga or whoever, who could be our opponents.
Paris FC we could play, couldn't we?
Yeah, that's possible. But if we finish 11th or 12th, then we could face maybe Bayern or Chelsea if they don't finish in top 4, and that wouldn't be good. And one more, the quarterfinal of the League Cup is also played in December. Another very, very big game for us in the next block, because as you said, are we a cup team? Yes, but the domestic cups should be our real goal this season, that we survive in the League Cup and win the quarterfinal. There is an open draw. Maybe we have to play Chelsea or Man City in the quarterfinal, but then we should be able to beat them in this one-off game. So it's really important block for us, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there at the Emirates for the Liverpool game, and at Meadow Park for the Twente home game. Yeah, and I want to see us win the games.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we need to win them all. Absolutely, we do. And and you're right. If we can get in the top 8 in the Champions League group, I think we will. We should win these last 2 games. Although you never know. I suppose the way the season's gone, it's difficult to say. But you'd expect us to win them. And the WSL games we've got, again, winnable games that we should win. I mean, Liverpool have beaten us at home before, but they did get a draw with Chelsea last week. So who knows what Liverpool team might turn up. But even so, forgetting the opposition, we should win this block of games. You're absolutely right. We should do, but they're just not games to get excited about, really, are they, at the minute? Just the way we're playing, it's like, yes, we've got a chance to win them all. Obviously, a good chance to win them all, but yeah, I don't know. Let's just get this international break done. I'm looking forward to the Lionesses games, actually, because I think that'll be really good. And then maybe we'll come back nice and refreshed, and we can all get back into the swing of it again for the next block. Vicky says 4 wins is required. Anything less will be disappointing. Absolutely. Yeah, no, you're right. In this block of games in particular, I mean, this recent block that's just finished, we knew there were some tough games that we probably wasn't going to win them all. It would have been fantastic to have won them all, but this block coming up, yes, we have to win them all. There's no question. We can't afford not to. Greg says a good set of games so we can get some confidence back against teams we should win. Yeah, and build some momentum, because that's the one thing this season's lacked is momentum. We have one decent game and then we'll have a poor game straight afterwards, or we'll have a decent result and then we'll have a poor result next game. So yeah, we need to get some consistency going, and yeah, this is a chance to do that because they're winnable games, but the games aren't won on paper, they're won on the pitch, and we've got to go out and do it. LG says, I think the top 4 will be Lyon, Barca, Chelsea and Bayern, and they'll be seeded in the quarterfinal. The only team I'm confident we can beat home and away is Bayern. Well, I mean, you say that. I mean, last season we beat Lyon over 2 legs. We beat Barcelona in the final. I know that's last season. And we did beat Bayern technically over, well, we didn't beat him over 2 legs, but we beat him at home and lost away. We've just lost away again. And Chelsea, well, I don't know. Yeah, we never seem to get a good result against Chelsea, do we? I suppose. But what you got to remember is, in a cup competition, which is what the Champions League is, once you get through the group stage, it becomes a cup competition. And we've shown that we can win cup games over the last few years. We're really good in cup games. And I actually would back us in 2 legs against anyone in the competition now, even though we're not playing particularly well. I think over 2 legs, we kind of got the swing of it last season, didn't we? We figured out how to win those 2-legged games. And I wouldn't be any of those 4 teams over 2 legs. I wouldn't be worried about playing. I'm not saying, well, yeah, we'll definitely beat them. I think we'd have a chance of beating any of them. But first of all, one, we need to play better than we have been. That's obvious. But in these type of games, I think we would, just because we did last season. And I think we've got the players. We've got big game players, haven't we? Players who have won the big games. They're used to it. They don't feel the same nerves and pressure as maybe some players who aren't so used to playing in them type of games. They've been there and done it. So I wouldn't be bothered. Whoever we get, I think we can do them all. Greg says, Andreas, you looked a bit cold on your vlog. You should have taken a flask of soup. Yeah, he did look cold to me. I mean, it was freezing, wasn't it, to be fair? What a cold night that was. Yeah, it wasn't the best night for being out watching football, was it? Let's be honest. It did look cold. But I mean, I suppose the game warmed you up a little bit in the second half, I suppose, anyway, didn't it?
Yeah, especially the win in the end. But yeah, it was really freezing cold. It was 0 degrees, and especially the wind was terrible. And as I said, if you have been at Meadow Park in winter, you know how terribly cold it can be. And yeah, was not the best to film in this cold, but yeah. Anyway, I was there, and in the end, I was, as always, I was happy to be there. And the best you can have from a game is to win, but for me, it's always important to support the team and be live in the stadium. I think if I watched the Madrid game at home on TV, I don't know whether I would have watched the full 90 minutes. I would have been frustrated after the Caroline Weir goal and maybe switch to another channel and take a break for a few minutes. If you're in the stadium, you watch 90 minutes and you see you see everything. You have the overview over the whole pitch. You see every player, not only the player you have on TV screen. So I prefer to be in the stadium, and of course it feels good to support the team. Despite all the results or the disappointment, I want to be there, and even if it's terribly cold.
No, but I mean that's the point, and I think that I think sometimes people maybe lose track of the fact that after the game's finished and maybe before the next game starts, I think it's fair to analyse it and be critical if that's what's needed. And that's not being negative for the team. It's not supporting the team. When the game's on, every single one of us is behind the team and the players and the manager and wants the team to win and do well, right? We're desperate for that to happen. So while the game's going on, of course, everyone's behind the team, and that's where everyone needs to be, and that's the right way. But afterwards, we've all got the chance to have calmed down. You've not got that same emotion because the game's finished, and you can look at it. And if things aren't right, there's nothing wrong with saying that and pointing them out. In fact, that's almost what should happen. We should be able to have these discussions. And I think sometimes, particularly with the women's team, you see a lot of forums on social media and stuff like that. And no one will accept any criticism of anybody. It's like, oh, you can't just support the team. You can't criticise it. You can't. Well, no, when the game's on, it's different to when you're analysing it afterwards. No one is in the ground shouting at the players and saying you're rubbish, or shouting at Rene saying, Rene, you're not good enough. No, of course not. No one's going to do that. We'll be there in the stadium cheering the team, singing for them and stuff like that. But when the game's finished, if things haven't gone well, or we feel that the team could be doing better or should be doing better, of course we need to make these points. And I think it's important that we do. It's no good burying your head in the sand and saying, oh, we can't say anything critical about the team. We just got to support. No, that's not the best option. That's not the best way. I think it's important that even the players and the management team, although they love the support that they get and all that kind of stuff, they need to know if the fans aren't happy with certain things, the fans need to express that at the right time. Not obviously when the game's going on, no, but at the right time. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's important that we do it. And I don't know. Sometimes it frustrates me that people are, oh no, well you can't criticise Rene. Well, no, of course you can. If she's got things wrong, we should be able to say she's got it wrong. Because if nobody tells her she's got it wrong, she's never going to put it right. And it's not necessarily our job to do that. She should have coaching staff there, people in the club should be doing it, and maybe some of the players. But what I'm saying is, as fans, we invest a lot of our time into this team. So we've got a right to, if things are going wrong, to criticise them. If things are going well, to sing their praises. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, And I think we need to understand that that's fine.
Yes.
With certain things, and we've got a right to express that, as long as it's not when the game's going on. That's not the right time to do it. Greg says the problem playing at Meadow Park is it's not easy to get to, and having 8 o'clock kickoffs, I wouldn't be able to get a train home. They should be playing all the games at the Emirates. Yeah, I mean, I said this the other night actually when that game was on, when I did the show, that I think Arsenal as a club need to make a decision now and say every game's at the Emirates. And the under 21s in that play at Meadow Park, so the club still got that agreement with Boreham Wood to play there and all that kind of stuff. I think the women's team needs to just, I agree, and yes, there's going to be games like a midweek game at the Emirates in the Champions League group stage against that Lovren team, whatever it is not going to attract a big crowd. You're probably going to get 5,000 or 6,000, but that's what you've got to do. We've got to have a home ground, and that's it. And sometimes there's going to be low crowds, and sometimes there's going to be big crowds, and in the middle, and that doesn't matter. There's no point having a game now at Meadow Park where half the season ticket holders, or more than half the season ticket holders, can't get tickets. That's not right. That's not how the club grows. The club have to make a decision and say, we're playing at the Emirates now. Every game, every single home game in every competition is going to be at the Emirates, and that's it. Boreham Wood, as great as it's been, and it's been great to watch the team there, a nice close-in atmosphere, you feel you're all part of it. but the club's outgrown that now. And if we want to keep growing, I think we need to make that decision. Every season we play more and more games at the Emirates, and I'm sure next season we probably will play them all at the Emirates. And I think we've got to. I think we've got to now. The time's come, hasn't it, really? When season ticket holders can't get to the game. Vicky says, I love the atmosphere at Meadow Park. Yes, I love the atmosphere at Meadow Park as well. But if you can only get 4,000 fans there, and we've got, 12,000, whatever it is, season ticket holders, it doesn't work. We can't do it. There's going to be a game where, if at Meadow Park, that Andreas might miss out because he doesn't get a ticket. That's not fair, is it? That's not right. For anybody that misses out, it's not right, is it? When you're a season ticket holder, you expect to be able to go to every game at home, and you can't. And I don't know, but anyway, let's see what happens. Greg says, I think the problem isn't only the manager. I think Claire Wheatley has too much say on who we can bring in. Maybe I don't know exactly what influence Claire Wheatley has, but maybe she could do with being replaced. I agree, but it is what it is, and I agree with the 8 o'clock kickoffs though. Anyway, even at the Emirates, 8 o'clock kickoffs are a nightmare because by the time you get out of the stadium, get to the station, you're looking at it's 11 o'clock, isn't it? And you're not going to take your kids out on a school night to be still in the middle of London at 11 o'clock at night, are you? It's just not going to happen. So the midweek game's always going to be an issue wherever you play them. Yes, the Emirates has got slightly better transport in and out. That's true because it's in central London, but I don't know. It's not an easy solution, is it? Vicky says, I've never had a problem getting tickets. Well, Meadow Park is a problem. Not at the Emirates, it's not. But Meadow Park's a problem because we've got more season ticket holders than can fit in Meadow Park. So as soon as we play at Meadow Park, people are missing out, aren't they? I mean, yeah. And it's difficult to get. I mean, even last 2 seasons before, really, it was difficult getting tickets at Meadow Park because all the games were pretty much all ticket sellouts, aren't they, now? So it is a problem. But not at the Emirates, it's not yet. I've never had a problem getting a ticket at the Emirates. You can always get one, not a problem. But Meadow Park is an issue. But we're still playing some games there, so we're just going to have to get on with it. But anyway, that block is over, and it was an exciting block in terms of the opposition that we played, and there was some exciting moments in all of those games, really, wasn't there? Well, apart from the Tottenham game, which there was no exciting moments at all. But other than that, there was some, Leicester was a good game. Chelsea had its moments, second half in particular. Bayern was an interesting game, wasn't it? Lots happened. And of course, the Real Madrid game in the end was a great victory in difficult circumstances, come from behind. So it was a mixed bag. It was a interesting block, but not really the performances and consistency that we need. And hopefully we can put it right for the next block of games, which may not have the same glamour attached to them. But as Andreas rightly said, they're important games. All of them are, and we need to win them all, quite honestly, don't we? So let's hope we can find a way to win them all, go into Christmas and the New Year feeling a little bit more optimistic. At this moment in time, I don't feel particularly optimistic about this season, where it might end up. We've got the potential to still do something decent, win a trophy again, maybe more than one. We've still got that kind of possibility. We've got the players to be able to do it. I'm just not convinced at this moment in time that we will, but there's still time. There's still time to get things going. Like you said, we've still got the 2 domestic cups that haven't even started yet. We're still in a decent position now to qualify at least for the quarter-final of the Champions League, and who knows. So we've got 3 trophies. And, of course, there's that World Championship European thing that we're playing as well. So not that that's maybe the most important thing, but anyway, it'll be a trophy to win. Why not win it? That's what I say. Again, it says England, China and Ghana. Yeah, there'll be good games then. It's the opposition we don't normally play. I mean, we played China in the World Cup, didn't we, actually, last time? But, yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see them games. I think. Aren't you going to the China game, Andreas?
Yeah. Yes, of course I am. And, yeah, everybody asks, Germany is playing the Nations League final first leg against Spain on Friday. Are you there? No, I can't be there. I have to be at Wembley for the Lionesses coming home against China. Yeah, and this once again, this shows where my heart is. It's Arsenal and the Lionesses first. Yes, I'll be at Wembley next Saturday.
Yeah, that'll be a good game. Actually, it will be a good game. And yes, I suppose it's the first time we've played at Wembley since winning the Euros, isn't it? The first Wembley game. We obviously played other games before, but yeah, that'll be good actually. And I'm sure it'll be a good game. And of course, Ghana will be interesting as well. It's always, I say, I like playing against teams like that. We always play the same teams in Europe, don't we, all the time? It's nice to play some teams from elsewhere in the world, and it's ahead of a World Cup competition coming up and stuff, a qualifying competition. It's nice to be playing these sort of teams as well, isn't it? So I'm excited for it actually. And to be honest with you, I think it gives us a break from what's been a frustrating few weeks for Arsenal. So it's maybe nice to have a couple of weeks away, watch the Lionesses in some friendlies against some decent, well, not decent opposition as such, but interesting opposition. And I think it's going to be quite good. And then we can come back ready for that Liverpool game. And hopefully ready to give them obviously we've nicked their two best players from last season, so we should beat them really, should we? Let's be honest. Greg says, let's be honest, being an Arsenal supporter, we shouldn't expect anything different. It's been the same for the last 60 years. Well, yeah, that's true. It's never ever going to be easy, is it? We never do things the easy way. What be the fun in that anyway? You know what I mean? Ryan says, well, it's been better for the women's team within 60. Well, no, exactly. Yeah, I mean, obviously the women's team dominated football for a very long time in this country, but things have changed. It's more competitive now, which is better, but there'll be a lot of us that maybe preferred it when we were winning everything every season, winning the treble every year and stuff. But it is better overall now. That it is more competitive, and when you win a trophy now, it feels more of an achievement because it's harder to do. When we were winning everything back in the 90s and early 2000s, when Vic was manager, it all felt very easy, didn't it? And we were miles better than everybody else. We had more investment. We were ahead of the game. And it was great to see us winning trophies and stuff. But now, when we do win something, it's much harder to do. The teams are much better in front of you. That's why winning that Champions League last season was a much bigger achievement than I think when we won it the first time, just because of it's a bigger tournament now, more games, better teams, and to win a tournament like that is special. It is. And yeah, I know we've criticised Rene a lot this season, but it's still last season. We've got to improve and be better. Anyway, that is the show. That has been good, and we are ready now for the weekend. Hopefully the snow will disappear. It will start getting a little bit warmer, and we can get outside and not freeze to death, which would be nice. And of course the Premier League's back this weekend as well, isn't it? North London derby in the men's game as well, so that's going to be good. So lots to look forward to this weekend as well, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. And of course the international break to come as well. So we'll be back in. Won't be next week; it'll be a week after, won't it? Will you be flying on the Friday for the Liverpool game?
Yes, I'm flying Friday. I'm flying Thursday. We can do the show on Friday before the Liverpool game. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, you're flying Thursday, are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
This was the cheaper flight, so I had to take Thursday evening, and I'll be in the hotel on Friday. We can do the show on Friday. Yes.
Oh, good stuff. Right. Okay. So that'll be that. So we'll do that. That'll be obviously not next Friday, the Friday after, the day before the Liverpool game. So that'll be good. So join us for that. I may well do the China game, actually. We may do a watch of that next week because I'm looking forward to that game, actually. I think it'll be good. So there'll be that as well. And of course, anything else that we might throw together in the meantime. But we'll definitely be back for the next show in 2 weeks' time. So thank all you guys again in the chat. Fantastic to have you guys with us, all your comments and stuff like that. Fantastic. And of course, Andreas as well, back in the warm. Good to have you with us again. Have you enjoyed being on the show?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, and always enjoy discussing the latest subjects. And of course, thanks to everyone watching my blog. The Bayern Munich vlog reached more than 1,200, so I'm very happy with this. And the last one from the Madrid game is up. So if you have time to watch it, please. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely watch them. Yeah, I mean, the Bayern Munich one was. I know the game didn't go particularly well, but the vlog certainly has gone well, so that's good. But yeah, the Real Madrid one's out as well, so check that one out as well because that's always good. It's always good stuff. So make sure you do that. Greg says Andreas is coming over a day earlier to enjoy our lovely warm weather. Well, it might be warmer by then. Actually, it might be warmer then because what tends to happen in this country is we'll have a cold spell. and then the cold spell will go, and for a week or two it'll actually be quite warm. For winter it will actually be all right. So I'm expecting there to be nice weather next couple of weeks, and then it'll probably snow again at Christmas, but anyway, we'll see. It's probably not going to be that hot, is it? Agneta says, you need to practice your singing, Andreas. She says, it's a highlight of the vlogs. Andreas is singing. It's definitely a highlight, so don't be saying that. It's all good stuff. But yeah, thanks to you guys for watching. I say obviously get along and support the vlogs as well, because they're really good, and that's always good fun. So yeah, and yeah, enjoy the weekend. There's no stress of the women's team playing this weekend, so we can relax, put our feet up a little bit, and keep warm. Make sure you do keep warm wherever you are, because it is still going to be cold for the next couple of days, I think. But anyway, at least the snow's gone from here. So enjoy your weekend, guys. Thank you to all you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, of course, to Andreas as well for joining us as always. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks' time to preview the Liverpool game and all the other great stuff that's coming up. So stay with us. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you very, very soon. Come on, you Gunners. Let's do it. See you soon, guys.